Hello everyone, my name is Mr. M. Today we're going to learn how to determine the inverse of a function algebraically. So go ahead and complete the intro activity first. Pause your video while you're doing it. Come back once you're done to check your answer. Let's go over this. In the equation x plus 5 equals 3y squared, solve for y in terms of x. What do we mean by this instruction? Solve for y in terms of x means you just leave the y by itself or isolate it by doing inverse operation. Let's do that together. Alright, let's solve for y in terms of x by dividing each side by 3. By y division, because 3 right here is being multiplied to y squared. And the inverse of multiplication is division. So these are divided out. So what's left here? X plus 5 over 3 equals y squared. Right? What's next? The y is still with the square. And what is the inverse of a square? It's square root. Right? So we get the square root of both sides. And this squared is the opposite or the inverse of the square root. So the y is now by itself. So we just copy the entire left side. The square root of x plus 5 over 3. With plus and a minus. Why is that? Because we're getting the square root of both sides. We need the principal and the secondary root of that side. There you have it. Now let's have the keyword. It says a function g is inverse of a function f if whenever y is equal to f of x, then x is equal to g of x. This inverse function is unique and is frequently denoted by f to the negative 1 and called f inverse. So yeah, it is kind of abstract, right? But what I want to focus more is on that symbol. F raised to the negative 1, which is can be read as f to the negative 1 of x is inverse of f of x, or f of x inverse. Now another thing is this phrase. It says the inverse function switches the input x and the output y, and we're going to see that in the model problem. Now here are the 4 basic steps in finding the inverse of a function. We're going to follow these steps as we move forward to the model problem. Alright, let's take a look. It says, first replace f of x with y. You see the f of x here? I'm going to change that to y and then copy my right side. There you have it. We're done with the first step. Step 2. Replace every x with y and replace y with an x. What does it mean? This y becomes x and this x becomes y. So 3y plus 2. Step 3. Solve the equation from step 2 for y. And there's a note here. This is the step where mistakes are most often made. So be careful with this step. Okay, so this is similar to this is actually the same as what we did in the intro activity. So we just simply isolate the y by doing inverse operation. So we take away 2 from both sides, right? So the result here is x minus 2 equals, this is 0. So I have 3y here. And then you need to divide each side by 3. Now the y is by itself, and this is x minus 2 over 3. Are we finished? No. It says here, replace y with f inverse of x, or f of x inverse. So we need to change this to f of x inverse. Right? And then copy that. X minus 2 over 3. Now we have the inverse function of the original equation right there. Now let's go over with model problem number 2. It says create an inverse function represented by the equation q of x equals 3x squared minus 5. Again, step 1, change this to y equals 3x squared minus 5. And step 2, switch the x and the y, meaning change this to x, 3y squared minus 5. Now we isolate y, right? By doing what? Inverse operation, we add 5 to both sides. And now I have x plus 5 equals 3y squared, because this is 0. Right? Now next step, divide both sides by 3. Right? These are divided out. Y squared is by itself now. So I have x plus 5 over 3. Does it look familiar, guys? Yeah, this is what we did in the intro activity. Now we get the square root of both sides. Remember, if we get the square root of both sides, we take the plus and the minus. And these are inverses of each other. So y is by itself. We copy this, plus and minus, x plus 5 over 3. That's step 3. So step 4 is we just simply change this y to f of x inverse, right? But be careful. We are given q of x. So what do we write? It's q of x inverse. Got it? And that is our final answer. Now it's your turn to practice. Go ahead and complete these 2 problems. Pause your video while you're doing it. Come back once you're done to check your answers. Welcome back, and the answers are those. I hope you got them both correct. Alright guys, let's do this quickly. So what makes this task different from the model problems and the first tasks? If you notice, it's not written in a function notation, but it's in the general form of the equation. But you can complete this problem still on the same manner. How? You just simply skip step 1 because y is already there, right? So step 2 is you switch the x and the y. So this becomes 2y minus 3x equals 5. Yeah? And then isolate y. Y is equal to 3x plus 5 over 2. And then change that to f of x inverse. F of x inverse, or the inverse of f of x. And that is your final answer. And that's basically what we have here. Got it? Let's have another set of problems. Right here, same process. Pause your video, come back once you're done. Welcome back. I hope you got them both correct. Thank you for watching and learning with me. Be sure to click the links below inside the description box for additional resources so that you can practice and learn more. Please take care of yourself and each other.